Very good evening. In the midst of the crisis that has gripped the Samajwadi Party, the Supremo still found a little time to hold up the mirror to his son. In a packed party meet, Mulayam Singh urged his son to seek inspiration from Prime Minister Narendra Modi, no less. He pointed to his son that the Prime Minister was born into a poor family but overcame odds through dedication and struggle to become Prime Minister. The Mulayam was advising his son. His message applies to several regional satraps whose sons have been lording it over their inherited fiefs with limited distinction. Implicit in Mulayam's message is that hard-won political pedigree always trumps dynastic privilege. One only has to cast an eye across several states for confirmation. The question then arises, have dynasts got it too easy to appreciate the posts they hold and the responsibilities that come with position? That's the fundamental question we're asking tonight on Insight, on the back of this very revealing, perceptive and instructive comment made by Mulayam Singh Yadav while he was trying to teach his son the lessons of office, governance and responsibility. Here's the news report. While he was trying to teach his son the lessons of office, governance and responsibility. Here's the news report.
The Prime Minister is admired for his hard work and dedication by many in his party. But what many didn't know is that he has a follower in the opposition ranks too, that in the SP Supremo, Mulayam Singh Yadav. A fact revealed by Mulayam's public praise for Modi to send out a message to his own son Akhilesh.
Holding up Prime Minister Narendra Modi as a role model for his son and by extension for other political giants, Mulayam Singh Yadav today said that they must try to work up their way by hard work and dedication like Prime Minister did.
Holding up PM Modi as a role model for his son and by extension to other political science, Mulayam said that they must learn to work their way up through hard work and dedication like the Prime Minister. But Akhilesh isn't the lone inheritor. There are giants spread across party lines.
Starting with Akhilesh Yadav, well, he was a member of parliament but never served as a minister of government, straight became chief minister of Uttar Pradesh. It's just not him. Rahul Gandhi is the more obvious political scion, also has never served as a minister in government, but is the current vice president of the Congress and perhaps aspires to be a prime minister in 2019. Then there is the individual Omar Abdullah. Well-known face, he served as chief minister, but what you perhaps might not know is that he directly became chief minister, did not serve in the J&K government until he became chief minister. Tejasvi Yadav, an example from Bihar, never served in government, straight deputy chief minister.
A reality check for the dynasts who Mulayam believe may got power way too easy. Therefore we ask, will pedigree trump privilege now? Bureau Report, News X.
Does political pedigree acquired through hard work always trump privilege? Fundamental question. Have dynasts got it all too easy to appreciate the fish and loaves of office? That's the bottom line question we're putting out tonight. Joining me this evening, Professor Madhav Nanapat, the editorial director of the Sunday Guardian, Shalini Thackeray, spokesperson of the MNS, Jaiveer Shergill, spokesperson of the Congress, Sunil Alagh, chairman, SK Advisors, someone who is representing self-made men this evening, Syed Zafar Islam, national spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Let me throw this open first by asking some of those who might have an opinion on the most important question. Have dynasts got it all too easy? They've not really had to work hard for their posts, and therefore, when they get there, they're not quite hardwired to succeed. J.V. Shergill, question goes out straight to you.
Rahul, firstly, for the record, I'm a bit curious on the omission in your news report on Akali Dal, Shiv Sena and PDP. I think you should have also put those names on record for your viewers on this show, point one. Point two, Rahul, I think today the era and your question is valid. I think having a surname is neither a disqualification, does not rather guarantee you a privileged success card for sure. And since the talk is about Samajwadi Party and PM Modi, they are living examples of both. Now, SP is a case of having a surname and having a CM post and yet not able to deliver on promises. And PM Modi, an alleged self-made, self-achieved man, again failing to deliver on promises. So today the litmus test is which background you come from or which one you don't come from. Ultimately, if you're given a chance to serve the people and you fail on the promises, then both are meaningless stories and perhaps good gossip columns or a good inspirational story at best. Now today, what we are seeing is not a thing that somebody got a privilege, somebody has a surname. Yes, they had an advantage, some people worked on it. Mr. Rahul Gandhi is a perfect example who never exploited.
No, but dynastic politics downfall is inevitable in India.
Surname took undue advantage.
How has he not taken undue advantage, sir? Think about this. Political parties, let me finish, sir. Let me finish. I'm giving you. Can you give me 20 seconds to frame my next question? You can respond to it since you brought me to this point. It's very clear, Mr. Shergill, and I just want to apprise you. In any corporation which believes in merit, you're only given those few chances to succeed. If you can't, you're replaced. In your party, sir, there's a clamor, not just for Rahul Gandhi, but now Priyanka Gandhi. There's a clamor that they should be projected, they should be made presidents of the party and eventually contest for the prime ministership of the country. That is what Rahul Gandhi was aspiring to do in 2014. He'd never held office in government. He'd never had any administrative post in government or state. Yet he had an aspiration and the party rallied around him. Now, why were they doing so? What was his real qualification, sir?
Okay, Rahul, three answers to your specific question. Firstly, I think that speaks a lot about him. Mr. Rahul Gandhi never aspired for any post or power despite being in a position to do so and despite being there a popular demand within the cadre. Point one, from 2004 to 2014 is a living proof of that. Second, his elevation within the party has been very gradual and systematic, much like any others. 2004 MP, after 3 years as General Secretary, and that too of IYC and NSCOI. After that, another 6-7 years to the ladder of vice presidentship, and still he never claimed any post of any minister or anything, despite being in power, in the echelons of power or in the corridors of power. He never even enjoyed a single privilege. That speaks volume about it.
I thought, sir, he was saying that he wanted to learn the ropes.
Who will be your VP?
That this was not some voluntary sacrifice, but this was a realization that perhaps he wasn't equipped to hold an office. Suddenly he finds himself elevated to the position of a vice president. 1 second, let me open this up. Let me bring in Sunil Alag also on this. Sunil Alag, if you can hear me, if you're
Rahul,
there
let me make my last point. Let me make my last point. I'll just 10 seconds.
No,
10 seconds. Just give me 10 seconds. Just give me 10 seconds. My last point is that whether you talk about dynasty or persons having surname or anybody self-achieved, it all boils down to delivering on your promises. If you failed on that, every story is meaningless in today's politics. Pedigree is determined by your governance,
I don't know
and
that.
not your surname.
I don't know how many failures it takes in the Congress party to be shown the door. I don't know. Let me bring in Sunil Alag. Sunil Alag, what do you make of this? This comment is very instructive. Mulayam Singh Yadav says to his son, follow Prime Minister's example. Man is self-made, worked his way up the galleys.
What is going to happen?
Yeah, go ahead.
No. Yeah. You know, absolutely. I think what is going to happen, this debate is going to degenerate into the Congress supporting Rahul and Samajwadi supporting Akhilesh and all, everyone will get into their own little thing. But let's look at it, let's step back for a minute. And right, Mr. Modi has come in, he doesn't have a son, he doesn't have anyone, so he's self-made, he's on his own. But I agree to a point that, you know, there's a cartoon of Dennis the Menace the other day I read, that young person is, the mother is saying 2 wrongs don't make a right. And he asks his father, how many wrongs do I have to do before it makes a right? And that's all he's saying. Look, all of us, you can make, as you rightly said, 1 mistake and then you're out. Or 2 mistakes at best, you have the benefit of the doubt because you've come in. But let me tell you, even companies like various organizations which have not allowed sons to come in if they are not there. Because if you take Azim Premji as a classic example, one son that he felt was not suited for his business has been removed and does all his charitable work. And the second son, whom he thought was sent to the best university abroad, brought back, put into the middle level, and he's developed all along and he's come in. And the same thing is happening to Narayan Murthy's son. But to have this direct becoming a minister, maybe 1 out of 10 will turn out to be right. And I think Akhilesh is a very good guy. But the rest, I mean, come on. I mean, please give yourself a break when you start defending as saying this is the best person that you've got. And dynastic things in industry as well as in politics can only be done if you've got an efficient person who's got trained and is in politics right from the middle onwards, efficient person who's got trained and is in politics right from the middle onwards and is on to work, and then he becomes one.
Yeah.
And then he has the benefit, no doubt, that if the father is running it, 2 mistakes can be allowed. Not endlessly. Endlessly it's going on. And I'll still support the person. That's ridiculous. Completely ridiculous.
Let me ask Shalini Thakre. Shalini Thakre, in Maharashtra, in the overarching framework of the Shiv Sena, you had a situation while Mr. Bal Thakre was alive, your supremo, he could have managed to some degree the family's fraught equations. But within his lifetime, there was a split in the Shiv Sena, which guarantees, and this is true of the DMK, this is true of the Scindia family in Madhya Pradesh, this is true even of the Abdullahs in the National Conference, where their parties have splintered, families haven't been able to stick together because the only glue that binds them is not victory and performance, it's blood.
Rahul, in our Indian system, unlike the West, West is very individualistic. In our Indian system, you can take it in any sphere. Ultimately, the family tree rules. You take the business community, 75% of the businesses are passed from the father to the son. Son might not be capable, but still a professional might be brought in, but at the helm is the son. The same is true for the political system. Politics is considered as dynastic rule because we have power with the family tree. When you add power to the family tree, ultimately it's a dynastic rule, and that is what we are following. Sad to say, that is the truth in our system. But ultimately, I think even though we are following that, ultimately it's the capability and the hard work which ultimately surfaces. In our case, if you're talking about our family, the Thakre family, yes, Bada Saheb made certain decisions, and we had a split in the party, and Raj Saheb started on his own, and he has chosen that particular path.
Well, the scions have not been able to manage.
But that is the...
They have not been able to manage they haven't been able to manage their bequeathment. Professor Nalapur, I want to bring you in on this. We are being told that this is the Indian system, but even in the West, there is dynasty. It's just a lot more meritorious. If you don't succeed, there's accountability. There's a little bit more of a corporate culture that has entered politics. So you might be the son of a Kennedy, you might be the son, in this case, the wife of a Clinton. But if you don't make it, you don't make it. That's the end. You don't continue.
Well, Rahul, I think Ms. Thakre has been quite candid about the whole situation. We are a country where you have a caste system of several thousands of years. And in the caste system as it is developed, it is birth. So supposing your father's a carpenter, your grandfather's a carpenter, you're a carpenter, and the profession you keep following. So this is what is happening in politics. In a sense, we are following the caste system. And secondly, we are following the Maharaja model. Now, how do people get selected? How do candidates get selected? I have studied a lot of this. Unfortunately, it's a darbar model. The more time you spend in the top person's darbar, the more chance you have of getting noticed and getting chosen for a big job. Now, obviously, the people in the family will willy-nilly have spent the maximum amount of time in the darbar, and therefore they're given first preference. So I would agree with Ms. Thackeray, we have not escaped from our feudal past, and we're not escaped from our feudal traditions.
Okay, let me bring in the spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Syed Zafar Islam. Mr. Islam, even in your political party, while you have Mr. Modi who's risen from the ranks, you had Mr. Vajpayee who's risen from the ranks, you even had the aspiring Mr. Advani who'd risen from nowhere pretty much. You now are also tilting, as far as your allies are concerned, to political parties which are entrenched dynasties. Isn't there a contradiction there?
Rahul, if you see our history, Bharatiya Janata Party history, as you rightly mentioned two names, we have always opposed to dynastic politics because it is against the interests of the society. You do not serve the people, you serve the family. And that is very apparent even today, the way the whole drama has unfolded in Uttar Pradesh. The family was first. It was prioritized over the interests of the Uttar Pradesh, people of Uttar Pradesh. And it is not the first time. It has always been the case because family comes first and then the people come second. It was Congress person was talking about Rahul Gandhi and the Gandhi family. I'm telling you, Congress will cease to exist if Gandhi family loses grips over the party. They are their strength, but they are their weakness too. The biggest weakness, because they cannot do without Gandhi family, but they cannot win. The Gandhi family cannot win the election because they are so incompetent, and that is because they are only there because of their dynastic
dynastic system
Otherwise,
ensure
Rahul Gandhi couldn't have become the vice president of the party.
Does the dynastic system ensure lifetime protection of the incompetent, Professor Nalapat?
Well, the fact of the matter is that, in businesses, for example, if you are, in a sense, from, let's say, father to son or down the line, then you can make a lot of mistakes and still nothing going to happen because, after all, the company is owned by the family. Now, unfortunately, in India, political parties have, in effect, almost come to be owned by particular families, with the result that those who are members of the family, who have been appointed there, can make mistake after mistake.
I mean, the argument could be made. Yes, exactly. The argument could be made. Shalini Thackeray, sorry. The argument can be made that if the MNS is not delivering under Raj Thackeray, then perhaps the MNS needs to pick someone else. But that can't happen, can it?
Rahul, I think the whole issue today is that, yes, dynastic rule opens opportunities for you, it opens doors for you, but ultimately, when we are talking about the Gen Next, they only want to see results. So they are not going to tolerate this for a very long time. So ultimately, after the doors are open, if you don't perform, so that is how the Generation Next is behaving. The new voter is not going to tolerate you.
But political parties, and I want to bring in, I want to go across to Sunil Alagh. Sunil Alagh, does dynastic politics ensure the entrenchment of the incompetent at the expense of the more qualified? There might be several very qualified people who could lead the Congress, who could lead several other political parties, but they just don't get a chance. Even the MNS.
I think that's unfair.
Look,
Okay. Shalini Thackeray, you were making a point.
I think it's a little unfair that Raj Sahab, he could have taken the easy way out and joined another party or didn't have to float his own party. It was a struggle which he took, and he took that path, and I think we're being a little hard on him. It's just been a 10-year-old party if you compare it to the other parties. Okay, let's not talk about AAP now, but apart from that, if you look at the other parties,
let Sunil Alagh come in on this. Let Sunil Alagh come in on this.
You are not letting me answer.
Yeah, Sunil Alagh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I am just saying all that is happening in terms of dynasties is that you get a head start. Hema Malini's daughter wanted to act. She acted in 1 or 2 films. She didn't succeed. She's out. She doesn't stay there forever. I mean, now Rishi Kapoor's son has become a star because he's good. But you guys never remove anyone. No matter what happens, I agree. There's a head start given. But if the guy is inefficient, remove him. Now, the question you are saying is, the younger generation, the people will... So all of you all are waiting for the people to push you out, but you won't take the decision from on top to say that, I don't think he's good, let me get him out.
Yeah.
Industry is the same thing. All actors, sports people, everybody. Come on, Sunil Gavaskar's son tried. He didn't make the team if he was not good, but he got a head start. I agree. But ultimately, politics also has to realize Rahul Gandhi has been given a head start. He is inefficient. Ask him to leave. Atal Bihari Vajpayee didn't get his foster son-in-law to come in and take over from him.
Okay, let me ask Mr.
He didn't
Shergill.
want to be. So, I mean,
Can
follow
someone
something
else...
correctly, give your child a head start, and that's it.
Okay, can someone else other than a Gandhi lead the Congress? Mr.
Rahul,
Shergill, 1 second.
Can I just make a point here, Rahul?
Yeah, make a
Rahul,
point.
Can I just make a point to
Make a
Mr.
point.
Shergill?
Make a point.
Can I just make a point? To
Make a
Shergill?
point, quickly, make a point.
Let me just, I mean,
Rahul,
all the
can I come
candidates
in?
are here. I personally feel, I mean, this is my personal feeling, that Mr. Shergill is more competent than his own vice president. I'm sure that everybody will vote for it because everybody will feel that he is more competent. But will he get a position of vice president?
Let me ask him that question. Can someone
by
else,
removing, Rahul Gandhi?
Mr. Shergill, can
Obviously
someone
not.
else other than a Gandhi lead the Congress?
Firstly, to answer what my friend Mr. Alam is saying, Mr. Alam, you know very well, I don't come hail from any political family. I am a lawyer, and here I am as the national media face of my party. So that speaks about
Can you be
point
Congress
one.
president
Point
in
two,
time?
I know everybody on these shows have their political favorites. No, one second, Rahul, I'll answer that also. Yes, my party's constitution allows that mechanism, and I will answer
No,
that. Give me 30
constitution
seconds,
might.
given everybody time. Second to Mr. No, 1 second, let me answer you. Be patient with me. You're now hearing Mr. Alag, he has his own political allegiance. Why is he not taking an example of Akali Dal or PDP? They have become deputy CM and CM by virtue of their surnames, unlike my leader, who's been in the system for 14 years and did not avail the top post despite he wanted to. Number 3, electoral acceptability in politics is also key criteria. Mr. Rahul Gandhi is getting elected and coming to the parliament. Our cadre is electing and bringing him into the parliament. This is the Congress cadre, Congress family being supported by electoral constituency. Are we judging or doubting the electoral
No. There's a difference. Professor Nalapat, there's a difference.
Number 3,
Rahul Gandhi is not only there to be an MP in parliament.
Why does he?
No, BJP, look
There's a
within the
larger
BJP.
purpose.
Now look within the BJP. If Mr.
No,
Jaswal,
he should-
if
he
Mr.
should-
Sinha
he
is the
ideally
Civil
remain.
Aviation
If you
Minister
think that he
today,
can win
or
an
Mr.
election
Anurag
for
Thakur is
himself,
hailing
but he
from
can't win
somebody,
election for the
are you
party.
saying disqualify
That
them
is very
because they
obvious.
belong to a certain surname? No. The point I'm making is,
But why not?
if you cannot deliver on your promises, then you have,
No,
it
but
doesn't
why
matter
not?
whether you're self-made or you come
The
from
rule
a
of the
certain
jungle
family.
must apply. The rules of survival must apply across the board, Professor.
You know,
Gentlemen, 1 second. Professor coming in on
Rahul,
this.
there's no doubt that Rahul Gandhi could have been the Prime Minister of India if the Congress president wanted. Now, he was not. The fact of the matter is, in my view, he made a mistake in not being a cabinet minister and not taking up responsibility, because now the country, there's a huge question mark on his capacity. If he had been a cabinet minister, if he had done a good job, that question mark would be removed.
Well,
those who come from dynastic families should be tested 5 times harder than other people, because we should test them very hard because they had a very easy start.
There you go. And perhaps that's one of the reasons why they have been singularly mismanaging their positions. You look at the DMK, you look at MK Aragiri, and you look at MK Stalin, both at loggerheads. The party, entrusted Mr. Stalin with the responsibility, couldn't bring the party back to power against J. Jayalalitha. You have a situation where you have the Shiv Sena splintered into 2. Both parties have never really been able to capture the mind space to come to power on their own. You have obviously the dynasty now in Punjab, the Badal dynasty, which is emerging, but it might be shown the door, and God alone knows if they'll ever come back to power. Mismanagement there also. There, of course, the difference being that the patriarch is still around, ruling the state, and pretty much there in the saddle. But if you look at many other parties in Haryana, which were parties that were based on dynasties, those have sort of been ejected. Even in Delhi, parties that have leaned on certain leaders out, we have Kejriwal in. So you have a situation where accountability is being affixed. You might have a head start, but that doesn't guarantee success. It's up to these parties now to determine for themselves whether they should take that principle, performance pays, to its extreme. We leave it at that. Lots more